I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, family members, parents, and graduating seniors, please observe a moment of silence with me to reflect upon our purpose in coming together today, to think about the experience that have brought us together, to remember the assistance and support others have given us, and to look forward to the individual paths we will now travel. Please join me now in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you.
We welcome you to this 40th commencement ceremony of Elkhart Central High School. We are very proud of the young ladies and young men sitting before you. I'd like to say a couple of things about this class because they have had some outstanding achievements. Class of 2012, under their leadership, our school has raised over $30,000 that they have donated to charity over the past year. Class of 2012 provided over 20,000 hours of community service. Class of 2012 has received over $1,300,000 in scholarships. Class of 2012 has 2 Wells Scholars. Class of 2012 has 3 students that were commended for National Merit Scholarships. Once a Blazer, always a Blazer. To make this an enjoyable experience for everyone, we request you please do not come down to the fence or center aisles for the purpose of taking pictures. During the distribution of diplomas, we request you please keep your cheering short. We want to hear all names that are introduced. With your help, this will not intrude upon the others and will allow all seniors to be recognized and lead to an atmosphere of great pride, dignity, and serious reflection upon their last 12 years of school. Please be cooperative so all the names of our students may be heard. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. We are all included in the Elkhart Central family, and I am sure you want to hear all the names of our graduates. After having the privilege to watch these students grow for 4 years, I sure want to hear each and every one of their names. Please wait, if you can possibly help it, please wait to leave the ceremony until all the names have been read. We would like to recognize the following individuals whose efforts helped make this commencement ceremony a success. Our junior class guides, would you please stand? You may be seated. Mr. Dan Swigert, our coordinator, would you please stand? Mrs. Carrie Drews, the senior sponsor. Mr. Lester Perry and his entire maintenance staff, we thank you for all your efforts. I would like to recognize our department chairs. As I read your names, please stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until I've gotten through the whole list. Our art department chair, Mr. Thomas Grove. Our business chair, Mrs. Patty Pletcher. Our English chair, Mrs. Tracy Korn. Family and Consumer Science, Mrs. Barb Van Wetchel. Industrial Technology, Mr. Dennis Gable. Our Math Department, Mrs. Jenna Nelson. Media Services, Mr. Nico Valentine. Music, Mr. William Niederer. Physical Education, Mrs. Missy Dickerson. Science, Mr. Eric Jansen. Special Education, Mr. Steve Stutzman. World Languages, Mrs. April Schneider. At this time, let's recognize these folks at this time. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to recognize our platform guests. Please stand, remain standing, and hold your applause until all are introduced. Mr. Mark Mao, Superintendent of Schools. Dr. Thomas Neat, Assistant Superintendent of Instruction. Mrs. Karen Carter, President of the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Jerry Starr, Vice President of the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Dorisanne Nielsen, Secretary of the Board of School Trustees. Mr. Glenn Duncan, Member of the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Carolyn Morris, Member of the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Susan Diber, Member of the Board of School Trustees. Mrs. Kelly Bearhide, Assistant Principal. Mr. Phil Stilson, Assistant Principal. Mr. Dan Swigert, Assistant Principal. Mr. Jason Grasty, Assistant Principal. Mrs. Gail Draper, Director of Guidance. Mrs. Sarah Flagg, Counselor. Mrs. Bonnie Kaufman, Counselor. Mrs. Terry McCaskey, Counselor. Mrs. Katrina Barheit, Counselor. Andrew Braden, our class president. Jose Rodriguez, our class vice president. Jeff Bradford, class secretary. Forrest Howard, class treasurer. And Desiree Porter, one of our commencement speakers. Let's recognize them. And Zoe Desori. And at this time, we'd like to hear our first student speaker, which is Miss Desiree Porter, and her speech is on doors. Give me your hat.
Okay.
We'll give it back to you.
Thank you, thank you. All right. What's up, class of 2012? All right. Imagine your heart's thumping, your hands are sweating, your eyes are darting. Every sense in your body is heightened. Your stomach starts to turn and your mind is racing. And it gives you super strength only for a moment. While what is happening does not take much time, every movement and every moment seems to slow down. It is hope for a better outcome. It is sometimes what we must do. It is reaction. It is instinct. It's scary. It is fear. While the size of our fear may vary, it is a fact that we all have fear. What else is there to do but get ready, get set, and go? Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you stop to look fear in the face. You must do the things you cannot do." When I read this, I thought back to the time I had my first fear. Think way back to your childhood. For some, this is quite a ways back, but I want you to think back to the time you had to face your fears. It could be a fear that's unusual, or the more common boogeyman under the bed or monster in the closet. But it was a fear you had to face to grow up. There's a moment in which you realize you're going to have to open that door and see what's on the other side. So you grab the door, get ready, get set, go. We still have these doors in our lives today. They appear and disappear as we grow up. Have you ever heard the saying, when one door opens, another one closes, or when one door closes, another one opens? That door does not just appear and open on its own. It appears because in one way or another, we did something, said something, or the people we surrounded ourselves with led us to the moment in which the door first appeared. Some of us will not open certain doors. It could be from the fact that we were not ready to face what's on the other side. It could also be that we know there's only clothes on the other side and not a monster, so we feel no need to open the door. Some opening the door, when you open the door, whether it's a fast swing open or a slow, steady creep around the door, or some speed in between, it tells us who we are. You grab the door, get ready, get set, and you go. Just as Eleanor Roosevelt said, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the things you cannot do. As we go from this place, our first step is to pick a door. My door and what lies beyond it is not going to be like anyone else's. Each door has its similarities, but none are identical. After we pick our door, grab it, and open it. Everything we do has a door. Even doing nothing is a door we pick, so don't let the fear of what you think you cannot do hold you back. You must do the things you cannot do. We have to grab each door we wish to enter because it may never appear again. If it does, it will not be like it was before. Once we've opened it, we will step inside, and what lies within it is for each of us to face. We will gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which we really stop to look fear in the face from this moment on. So what do you do now? You get ready, you get set, and you go. Thank you.
How is everybody today? It's the summer of 1998, and so far I am flying high. No homework, no responsibilities, long hair, don't care. I'm 4 years old, and I'm unstoppable. Yes, the magic of '98 seemed endless, until my parents decided to pit me against my greatest challenge, asparagus. Now, for those of you who have never had asparagus, take a piece of advice. Don't. When my parents issued a decree that I would not be allowed to hang out with my friends until I tasted asparagus, I was forced to sit back down and try to eat it. And much to my surprise, I learned a very valuable lesson. Asparagus is disgusting. It's absolutely repulsive and unappealing. But this awful vegetable brings me to our class motto, taken from Eleanor Roosevelt's 1960 book, Learning by Living. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing that you cannot do. I did that which I could not do, and as a result, I enjoyed the benefits. This quote reminds me of 3 of the toughest keys to success. First, you have to start thinking about the future now. Second, you have to be willing to expand your horizons and try new things. And third, avoid asparagus if at all possible. First, we need to think of the future now and start doing the things we cannot do. It is one thing to say that you deserve a successful life, but entirely another thing to achieve it. If we want to live satisfying lives, we need to be conscious of the future. As French author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry once said, as for the future, your task is not to foresee it, but to enable it. By no means does this mean that we have to plan everything in our life out. Rather, we need to be willing to occasionally sacrifice pleasure today so that we can achieve our goals tomorrow. As the late comedian George Burns once said, I look to the future because that's where I'm going to be spending the rest of my life. In order to succeed in the future, we can never stop learning. Today's world is changing fast. In 5 years, we'll all need abilities and tools that haven't even been developed yet. So if you're going to college, keep learning. If you're going to technical school, keep learning. And if you plan on getting a job, then keep learning. Stay curious, my friends, or the world will leave you behind. Second, we have to be willing to try new things to push the limits of our lives. Too often, we shy away from opportunities that seem terrifying or unpopular, and as a result, we waste more potential than we ever knew we had. We confine ourselves with walls of fear and doubt, and instead of fighting through them, we throw in the towel before we can begin. Eventually, if you push through the things you cannot do, you will find something worth fighting for. And so, I challenge you, class of 2012, to spend the next few years of your life digging. Keep digging until you find something that you are passionate about. If something grabs your attention, then pursue it. When I joined the speech team my freshman year, I almost quit midway through my first season. I was worried because, believe it or not, the speech team has a nerdy reputation. I know, I don't get it either. But regardless of how cool people think the speech team is, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I loved every minute of it. So, go ahead and take that job opportunity. Start a rap crew and put on your own concert. Start your own business selling canoes. Take an internship in China for a summer. You will fail more times than you succeed, but all it takes is one spark to light a fire inside of you. Whatever you do, don't spend the next few years of your life living complacently. Henry David Thoreau once said, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them." Don't be most men or women. Strive to make the most of these next few years. They will lay the groundwork for the rest of your life. Finally, a few thank yous. Parents and family members, thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration. For some, you have been the constant support that pushed us to succeed. And for those without that support, thank you to the aunts, uncles, grandparents, neighbors, coaches, and whoever else has helped you graduate. And last but not least, thank you, class of 2012. And thank each other. Whether we have comprehended it yet or not, these last 4 years have been beautiful. They might not be what we expected, but they mean more to us than we can realize. And if these last 4 years haven't been everything you wanted them to be, well, put a smile on your face. They are officially a part of our life stories. Congrats, class of 2012, and happy birthday, Elise Mitchell.
Oh, Central High, we will be true forever to your white and blue, and in our memories will remain the hope of coming back again to wander through familiar halls, remembering what the heart recalls, remembering games we watched or played, and happiness and friends we made. The many lessons that we learned, the teachers for whose help we turned, these are the things we shan't forget. They signify a task well met, our school day memories holding true, the joy that is the flame of youth. Dear Central High, we pledge to be our faith, our hope, our loyalty.
Hello, everybody. Mr. Surge, on the behalf of the class of 2012, we wish to present you a check for the amount of $4,250 dedicated to the alumni displays in the Schnuck Run.
Thank you, Forrest, and thank you, class of 2012. We'll certainly put the money to good use. We have a very special award that we only give out at graduation. It's to commemorate Mr. Lynn Gerard, who was our activities director at Elkhart Central for a number of years, a biology teacher at Elkhart High School and at Elkhart Central. Mr. Gerard passed away a number of years ago. For those of you who have known him, he was a wonderful, exceptional person. He always had a smile on his face and in seconds would light up a whole room with his great personality. Mr. Gerard loved Elkhart Central High School and would do anything for this school. The award will commemorate his contribution to our school. Our award winner is, and I'd like you to please come forward, for all her spirit, Miss Kate Fan. At this time, I will read the names of our students who are ranked in the top 10. I will read the names in alphabetical order since we have combined the names in the weighted and unweighted scales. I will designate position 1 and 2 at the end. Please hold your applause until the end. As I call your name, please stand. Zoe DeSori, Kate Fan, Cody Kraus, Mallory McAfee, Adam Rafe-Snyder, Gabrielle Schleiny, Leah Steele, Joseph Swanson, David Zaire. Let's give these young folks a hand. You may be seated. Number 2 in the class, Andrew Braden. Number 1 in the class, Hallie Hill. Both students are Wells Scholars as well. Thank you. It is a very proud moment for me as principal of Elkhart Central High School to present the class of 2012. With the authority and responsibility vested in me by the Indiana Department of Public Instruction, Dr. Tony Bennett, Superintendent, I hereby present the class of 2012 whom have met all the requirements for graduation from a high school in Indiana. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Mark Mao, Superintendent of Elkhart Community Schools.
Mr. Surge, ladies and gentlemen, and soon-to-be graduates, it's an honor for me to accept this class of 2012 for graduation. Each of the graduates here today has met the requirements for a diploma, and that's a significant milestone. The question for today, though, is this: are these graduates ready? Are they ready for tomorrow? Are they ready to make the sacrifices necessary so that their dreams become reality? Are they ready to be optimistic and hopeful in dealing with life's challenges? Are they ready to see today's problems as tomorrow's opportunities? And finally, are they ready to always act for the greater good? Knowing a number of the members of this class, the answer for me is clearly, yes, they are. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm confident in telling you that our future will be in very good hands. These graduates are definitely ready for tomorrow, and I'm very pleased to accept this class for graduation. Mr. Surge, let's award the diplomas without delay.
Stephanie Aceves Faglia.
Nicholas Spencer Lane.
Marvin Jose Aguilera.
Alyssa Sky Lawrence.
Francisco Javier Aguirre.
Damian Leader.
Shamara Debray Patrice Allen.
Tim LeCount.
Miguel Alvarez Diaz.
Matresa Lynn Lehman.
Aisha Tanae Anderson.
Manuel Leo.
Emily Lynn Cooper.
Dustin Levitz.
Jose Aranda Jr.
Rose Lewandowski.
Mackenzie Jean Axum.
Nice job, Emily.
Elizabeth Lightfoot.
Ray Axum.
Kyle Lindsay.
Kelsey Elizabeth Bailey.
James Little.
Sheila Arup.
Christian Losa.
Bradley Barfell.
Alfonso Luis.
Tyler William Barrett.
Chelsea Ann Lynch.
Tyler Bears.
Nicholas Marbury.
Kayla Diamond Belafont.
Spencer Richard Mark.
Kayla Diamond. Megan Kaylee Belshner. Sorry, Megan.
Victoria Marie Marquis.
Tara Catherine Bennett.
Emily Rochelle Martzall.
John Charles Bernacchi.
Mallory Nicole McAfee.
William Douglas Bernacchi.
David Michael McCulley Jr.
Sean Berryhill.
Michael Allen McCord.
Devlin Adam Bertha.
Selena Irene McCourt.
Alexander Jordan Bicknell.
Jessica Sierra McKenzie.
Kyle Edward Bolero.
Michael McMahon.
Reed Lindsay Brace.
Gerardo Mendez, Jr.
Andrew Austin Braden.
Caitlin Diane Merchant.
Jeffrey Randolph Bradford.
Mark Richard Michnick.
Chelsea Nicole Brown.
Elisa Renee Maida.
Latisha Marie Brown.
Bailey Morgan Myers.
Bria Charday Brown.
Allison Nicole Miller.
Nicholas Kenton Butcher.
Antoya Miller.
Danielle Renee Buford.
Joshua Robert Miller.
Jonathan Dean Buss.
Sylvia Abigail Miranda.
Alan Thomas Byers.
Elise Mitchell.
I don't know what they said to pause there.
Angel Calderon.
Bricklin Page Mormon.
Dante Michael Campbell.
Shanice Desiree Moore.
Miguel Cardoso Jr.
Daisy Mora.
Rachel Catherine Carpenter.
Constance Irene Morrow.
Deontay Carr.
Brett Andrew Morton.
Marlene Castaneda.
Mrs. Gail Draper, Director of Guidance, will assist with the distribution.
Jessica.
Michaela Page Munn.
Jessica Osias Castillo.
Luis Murro.
Christian Castro.
Jonathan Navarro.
Cody Lee Cabot.
Nicole Noel Neal.
Joshua Blair Cabot.
Adrian Neely.
Raquel Cherez.
Robert Nemsek.
Quilla Jean Chambers.
Jacob Peter Nolan.
Brittany Chapman.
Jacob Normand.
Abel Chavarria.
Jose Manuel Nunez.
Juan Chavez Vaquelas.
Jordan Nicole Nutting.
Brandon Alexander Christensen.
Gabrielle Mercedes Nye.
Arisbas Cisneros.
Crystal Ann Colleen Nystrand.
Tyler Christian Clements.
Sean Michael O'Neill.
Shanquil Connor. Hold on.
Mrs. Doris San Nielsen, Secretary of the Board, will assist on this side. Fanny Ortega.
Mrs. Karen Carter, President of the Board of School Trustees, will distribute this group of diplomas. Craig Michael Cooper, Jr.
Austin Reed Owens.
Anthony Sean Corbin.
Katie Owens.
Carly Brianne Corbin.
Miguel Angel Perez Villa.
Ashley Leanne Corrigan.
Mitchell Andrew Pearson.
Tiffany Gertrude Crosby.
Kelsey Lynn Peterson.
Austin Damon Cross.
Bianca Rochelle Picking.
Cristobal Alejandro Quadapuzza Guanilo.
Carlene Rosetta Plunkett.
Reina Alejandro Quadapuzzo Granilo.
Desiree Deshawn Porter.
Ashley Nicole Culbreth.
Cassandra Marie Presswood.
Dantes Curry.
Katie Lillian Price.
Alexandra Caroline Daniels.
Adam Eugene Rafe Snyder.
Rebecca Elizabeth Davila.
Jonathan Ramirez.
Jaslyn Yvette Delgado.
Katrin Ratner.
Abby Grace Dibley.
Mackinac Raynor.
Shalonda Tierra Dillard.
Tyler Jamal Redmond.
Zoe Francis DeSori.
Sarah Colleen Reagan. Colleen Regan.
Alexander Gregory DeVitro.
Jorge Reyes.
Mrs. Teresa McCaskey, counselor, will assist with the distribution of this group. Atiana Du Bois.
Moses Reyes.
Shelby Lynn Dyer.
Michael Anthony Reinheimer.
Tyler Edward Eby.
Portia Richardson.
Trevor H. Artea.
Michaela Ann Richmond.
Ignacio Echeverria Mercado.
Emily Lynn Reef.
Ashante Marlene Ellis.
Brittany James Ranks.
Alejandra and Breeze Larice.
Ryan Michael Ranks.
Trayvon Patrick Erickson.
Nicholas Leaf Riggle.
Hannah Marie Estes.
Mr. Phil Stilson, Assistant Principal, will read this name of the group of graduates.
Brandon James Rakonen.
Andrew Cody Evans.
Dorothy Betsy Rios.
Mr. Jason Grasty, Assistant Principal, will read the names of this group of graduates.
Cheyenne Lacey Evans.
Brittany K. Rittenauer.
Catherine Francis Fan.
Velvet Rios.
Tyler Fenstermacher.
Vanessa Daisy Rivera Niguez.
Centerine Monique Fernandez.
Courtney Page Rivers.
Franklin Dean Fisher.
Amber Nicole Roberts.
Marcella Denise Gandy.
Jose De Jesus Rodriguez.
Cheyenne Marie Garber.
Nicole Ann Romans.
Danielle Marie Garcia.
Jacqueline Rosales.
Tony Gates.
Tiffany Ray Rospin.
Alejandro Hennes Garcia.
Brittany Corrine Rossi.
Cody Devon Genovese.
Aurelis Ruelas.
Haley Mackenzie Gerlach.
Jamise Ariel Rush.
Lillian Diane Gibbons.
Mrs. Sarah Flagg, counselor, will assist in the distribution with discs. Carissa Sample.
Kelsey Erin Elizabeth Gillespie.
Janine Sanchez.
Ryan Michael Gingrich.
Luis Sanchez Garcia.
Joseph Scott Godfrey.
Hang on. Marcos Sanchez.
Jessica Jasmine Gonzalez.
China Monet Sanders.
Tyler Grayson.
Martha Sandoval.
Benjamin Gray.
Valentina Maria Sanfilippo.
Matthew Thomas Gray.
Savannah Santoyo.
Carly Sue Green.
Kayla Renee Sawyer.
Sierra Chandre Green.
Mr. Robert Eric Shell II.
Dreshay LaShawn Green.
Jennifer Janelle Schemenauer.
Aisha Latrice Griffin.
Mrs. Jerry Starr, Vice President of the Board of School Trustees, will distribute this group of diplomas. Gabrielle Shioka Schleining.
Caitlin Griffin.
Samuel Spencer Schnell.
Mr. Glenn Duncan, member of the Board of School Trustees, will distribute this group of diplomas. Naisha Patrice Griffin.
Austin Richard Donald Sellers.
Gabrielle Grinnell.
Joel Edwin Senna.
Martha Evelyn Guardado.
Liza Therese Serafino.
Josie Guerra.
Asa Alexander Shelton.
Raquel Shanique Natalie Guthrie.
Sarah Courtney Schreider.
Miguel Gutierrez.
Catherine Rochelle Schultz.
Austin Maston Ham.
Rodrigo Cifuentes.
Mitchell Alec Hanberg.
Destiny Jean Nicole Slago.
Jeremy Lee Hankins.
Amber Smith.
Courtney Lynn Harris.
Aquila Dean Smith.
Jasmine Gabrielle Denise Harris.
Taisha Renee Smith.
Renee Michelle Harris.
Michael Anthony Snyder.
Rose Harder.
Jennifer Cecilia Sawyer.
Heather Lee Harding.
Dominique LaShawn Stoffer.
Stephanie Marie Hartle.
Destiny Lewis Stoll.
John Wesley Harwell II.
Leah Elizabeth Steele.
Ronald Lee Hawkins.
Mackenzie Stokel.
Tyresha Geneva Marie Hawkins.
Zachary Allen Stouter.
Stephen Hayward.
Trey Devon Stringer.
Jacob Alexander Heckerman.
Joseph Michael Swanson.
Dean Edward Helms.
Scott Joseph Swanson.
Christian Hernandez.
Keisha Linnell Taylor.
Juan Hernandez.
Trevor Michael Taylor.
Curtis Herr Knipsel.
Abigail Tejeda.
Hallie Elizabeth Hill.
Autumn Michelle Tingelich.
Christina Marie Hively.
Randy Scott Tennyson.
Mrs. Bonnie Kaufman, counselor, will assist with the distribution of this group. Abigail Teresa Hobson.
Derek Michael Teepee.
Madison Elaine Hepner.
Erin Marie Teepee.
Brittany Noel Hollowell.
Alejandro Torado.
Elizabeth Lynn Hoover.
Maria Nerese Tooker.
Evan Michael Hopper.
Elda Trejo.
Aaron Thomas Horner.
Jennifer Lynn Turlin.
Anthony F. Houston II.
Mariah Vanderhook.
Forrest Kelly Howard.
Sebastian Vasquez.
Brandon J.
Dude, we're about to graduate.
Katie Jean Vincent.
Jesse Alexander Hurtado.
Carson Michael Volheim.
Tamara Marie Ishmael.
Nathaniel Paul Wales.
DeAndre Deshaun Jackson.
Brianna Renee Weatherholt.
Michelle Ann Jackson.
Joseph Ryan Weber.
Andrea Lynn Johnson.
Madison Haley Weed.
Audrey Catherine Jones.
Nathan Edward Welter.
Devin Lee Jones.
Zachary Thomas Welchel.
Kendra Suzanne Jers.
Tyler J. Wilfred.
Carolyn Noel Kivy.
Clay David Wilkerson.
Melissa Renee Kaler.
Cody Austin Wilkins.
Austin Winter Kane.
Jennifer Lynn Weiner.
Mackenzie Emma Clark.
Blake Lyle Wogeman.
Devin Nathaniel Knapp.
Emily Rose Woods.
Cody Aaron Kraus.
Susan Kimberly Youngblood.
Stephanie Lynn Kraus.
David Andrew Zaire.
Zach Hertz.
I now call upon the class 2012 to stand up and present themselves for graduation. I want to wish you the best of luck. Let's now move your tassels from the right to the left. We now declare the class of 2012 graduated.
Elkhart Community Schools. It's the only choice that you need.